My oh my, ECW. Extreme Rules has come. It was great, and it's gone. We are literally, 10 minutes after a shocking finish to Extreme Rules?
A very, very shocking
just unbelievable way to end the show. It was hard for Orton and Rollins to follow that Roman Reigns versus Big Show last man standing match. That
was pretty damn good.
I'm pretty sure that'll be match of the night for me right off the bat. I mean,
yeah.
I said from the start that Roman Reigns was going to have to do something spectacular to get the win over Big Show. Something more than just 2 Superman punches and then a spear and a victory. And by God, he did just that.
Right, and the awesome thing about it is most matches of the nights aren't always like the greatest technical matches. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say you had a Shawn Michaels and a Bret Hart, right?
That was technical masterpieces.
Right. But let's say you have that match on the same card as Mankind and Undertaker Hell in a Cell.
Man, I think
that's what I'm talking about.
It pales in comparison to that match in a sense.
It wasn't a technical match, but it was a damn good match.
Brutal. It was a slugfest. It was like Lesnar versus Cena, the first time.
And for all you guys who dislike
Roman
Big
Reigns,
Show,
Big Show, yeah.
That dude can make people look like gold, because if you can take Big Show down, that's like a legit stamp of I'm here,
That's like your stamp of approval, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was a match that Roman Reigns needed to follow up his Brock Lesnar WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a good match for him to so to say, put his stamp on the map now.
Yeah.
Of a top guy in a sense,
I
not
agree.
the top guy, but one in discussion.
Right, because who else could you put it in his way that would be a legit threat? I mean, he hung in there with Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah, he hung in there with me. He got it handed to him. Mm-hmm. He definitely got it handed to him. But
he hung in there.
One of the things I did like, one of the things I liked about this match was the fact that it was physical. It was well paced. It wasn't slow like you'd expect most Big Show matches to be. Slow Big Show just hitting haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. No, it was fast paced when it needed to be with Roman Reigns taking over, and slowed down to a more brutal, hard hitting pace when Big Show needed to take over. I mean, we saw tables get destroyed by Big Show slapping it. We saw a table get destroyed by Roman Reigns getting choke slammed through it.
We saw people coming up from hits that would normally knock a normal man out.
Oh yeah, the knockout punch. Then there was a spear through a table. No, the missed spear where he went through the table. I mean, it was a well done match. And then of course the grand finale. And yes, spoiler alert here. Big Show flips the table over onto. No, sorry, not Big Show. Roman Reigns flips the table onto Big Show and then stands on top of it to get the 10 count.
Now, mind you, that this table was the table of all tables.
Yes, because so most announce tables, when Big Show looks at it, it falls down.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about we had Big Show and Roman Reigns both standing on top of this table. So this was a reinforced announce table that did not break.
It was no joke.
It was a no joke table. And one thing that I did like though was that it took Reigns having to not only spare Big Show through the Spanish announce table, but then flip the mother of all tables on top of him, and then to top it off, and then have to stand on top of it to make sure he stays out for the 10 count.
That just goes to show you what kind of man Big Show is.
Exactly, and I mean that just makes it more of an imposing factor for Reigns to be the one to beat Big Show. Granted, Big Show's been beaten by a lot of people before, but it's
still Big Show.
Exactly, the lengths he had to go through to get that win was great. Another good match from the night, and a lot of people probably aren't going to be happy with the outcome, was the tag team match. New Day versus Cesaro and Kid.
Not bad at all.
And, a lot of people aren't going to be happy with the match because Cesaro and Kid lost. But you can't, if they were to win, that was the end of the feud. You couldn't do anything else, and that was it. Done. End of story. Right?
And how do you legitimize New Day?
Exactly. We all see New Day going down if they don't clap, they snap. Well, they're snapping a little bit, getting tired of all the losses, and they're starting to win. So how did they win? They cheated. Yes, they cheated a little bit, but they pulled out the win. They got the victory, and it's a good way now to move forward and continue to build a feud in the tag team division for the tag team titles and make it more relevant.
Right, because that's one thing that they're doing a good job of building tag teams. I don't think they're doing a good job of maintaining them.
This is one way you can maintain it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got Cesaro and Kid, who are pretty much the hottest tag team in WWE right now. And you got the New Day, who they're going to play a good villain. You know, I think they're going to be a good villain for Cesaro and Kid to go against going forward. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be fun to see what the build up to the payback match between them that we all know is going to happen. You know, but it's going to be fun to see what happens there.
But, and the only thing about that is that they want to revolutionize the tag team division, like they continue to say that they want to.
Mm-hmm.
What tag team are they going to throw in there? Because it can't just be one tag team going against another. It's got to be like everybody going after everybody. Because
exactly,
it's two titles, right? Tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
One tag team can be on top. Because everybody's gunning for the world heavyweight championship, right? So why aren't all these teams gunning for them? Why aren't they all interfering in matches? Why are they cutting promos?
Exactly.
You know?
Hey, let's go back to when the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian were a thing, right?
They were the top three.
Right, they were the top three, but you gotta remember, each one of those teams had like a third person that would help them out from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the New Day, their third person technically is Xavier Woods. He's the guy that's on the sideline, so to speak. Right? He's a third person that will interfere from time to time on their behalf. You look at Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. They got Natalya. She's kind of like the leader for their group. Right? Xavier Woods is like the Spike Dudley for the New Day's group. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, you just got to find one more team to put out there. Do you really want to say the Los Matadores?
Well, it makes sense. I mean, I don't think you want to give up on them. I mean, because they're a good tag team.
Yeah, they're pretty
just
good.
Their gimmick's stupid.
Yeah, the gimmick's stupid. But I mean, if you look at them, I guess that I hate to say it, but he's like the Rhino for them. but I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it adds a little flavor to that division now. Mm-hmm. You know, and then of course, you know, you got the Lucha Dragons, who are up and coming. They're going to be a pretty good team to watch going forward as well.
They brought like a giant a Komodo dragon out there with them. That's their mascot. That's
their mascot with them. That'd be pretty interesting to see. And then, so I mentioned, you know, looking forward to them having a payback match. All right. Speaking of payback, of course, we heard the first payback match is already announced. John Cena versus Rusev for the United States title in an I Quit match. Now, I don't know about you, but last time I checked, John Cena was 3-0 in I Quit matches.
That's like challenging Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell match, you know?
It's just we all know Cena's going to win, but that's not what I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing the build up to that match now.
I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to win, because we just made a comment about.
Well, how do you beat Batista? He duct
tape.
No, he was going to hit them with the attitude adjustment off of a car or something like that.
And he was screaming, "I quit!"
And then Cena still hit him with the attitude adjustment. Mm-hmm. Orton made him quit to the STFU. I think that was probably the cheapest one to make him quit, to be honest, because he locked it in, and it was like 2 seconds into it, he said, "I quit" right away. If I remember correctly.
Go back and check that out.
If I remember correctly. Memory serves me right.
The coolest one was
JBL.
Yeah, because he
ripped off a smokestack from an exhaust from an 18-wheeler, like the front of an 18-wheeler truck, right? Mm-hmm. He's about to hit him with it, and he's like, "No, I quit.
Because JBL took John Cena to the limit.
Oh, yeah, he took him to the limit. But, yeah, I mean, John Cena versus Rusev, I Quit match. Their Russian chain match was okay. Wasn't great.
It was just an international flavor on a played out match.
Exactly. It was pretty much the typical what was it, bull on a rope match, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an okay match. It wasn't great. It could have been better. Could have been worse too. But it was what it was. Nope, not going to really go much into that match. There really isn't much to go into it. The finish was a little funky, but I mean, I don't know how to feel about that match, to be honest. It was okay.
Overall, it was good.
For what
outcome.
For what Cena has done the past couple pay-per-views, what Cena and Rusev have done in the past couple pay-per-views, this was an okay match compared to those. I would say, at least, in my opinion. I mean, the WrestleMania match was a lot better, and I think the Fastlane match was even better.
But they had a match at Fastlane?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, that's right.
That's when Cena won the title.
Won the first one. So now it's 2-1.
No, it's 2... Is it 2-1?
Cena's got WrestleMania and Extreme Rules.
Cena also won Fastlane, dude. He's 3-0.
No.
Yeah.
Cena lost at Fastlane.
Oh, yeah, no, wait. Did he lose at Fastlane?
He didn't tap out, but he
No, I thought he won the title at Fastlane. Oh, no, he won at WrestleMania. That's right. You're right.
I was taking a sip of my drink and I shook my head. No, when Carly had asked me that question.
You pulled your Kermit out. You pulled the Kermit out.
I mean, we're doing a podcast about wrestling, and you
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember.
But that's none of my business.
I couldn't remember. But anyway, I mean,
at Fastlane, he made him. He hit him. I think with Lana's shoe, or
Lana threw her shoe at him.
It was like a cheap shot somewhere.
Yeah,
he put him in the accolade, and Cena didn't tap out. He just knocked out.
Yeah, that was right. I mean, it was an okay match. It wasn't. It was still better than what happened tonight at Extreme Rules. It was still better.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can only go as far as the gimmick will let you go.
True. And then, let's see, what other match did they have tonight? You know, unfortunately, Daniel Bryan was not on the show. Well, suffered from an injury. Not sure when he's going to be back. Speculation is he won't be back till after Payback. So probably won't be seeing the Intercontinental title defended anytime soon, unfortunately.
But if anybody makes a big deal about that, oh well. I mean, how long do we see the World Heavyweight Championship not defended?
How long did we see the United States Championship not defended when Dean Ambrose was a champion?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. We'll just have to wait. Who knows? Maybe he comes back before Payback. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see when that comes around. Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler. The Kiss My Arse.
Damn good match.
It was a great match. I love that that Ziggler was able to be as physical as he was in that match. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be like high flying, doing all this crazy. No, it was, you hit me, I'm going to hit you right back type of match with Ziggler.
And you know, when you're talking physicality, Sheamus brings it.
Oh yeah, he brings it. And the ending was good. Ziggler did win.
Uh-huh.
And they did keep Sheamus a heel by, having him refuse to kiss Ziggler's arse. And then,
he was very believable, as far as he went to almost kiss his ass.
Exactly, and he low blowed him, kind of like what I was expecting to happen, and then Brogue kicked him, and then made him kiss his arse. But it was a good match. It was probably the second best match of the night, maybe third, because I think it's a tie between that match and then Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper, which
that match.
That was
the longest match.
It was a 2-part match. So they kicked off the show, and they started off with a good 10-15 minute match to start off the show. But the match didn't end there. They took off in a car and went God knows where, and then came back. About an hour later?
Yeah,
an hour into the show, and did the last 5 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. With Dean Ambrose,
I think could have went longer.
It could have gone longer, but it was still good for what it was. Mm-hmm. It was a good 20-minute total match, and it was fun. It was fun. They brought out a lot of chairs, a lot of.
Well, I wouldn't say total match. I mean, as far as what we saw, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. But, I mean, that match went on for an hour. Like when they were in that car, who knows what they did?
They had an epic hour-long Iron Man match where only one pinfall was counted. What was the last time we saw that ever happen? Wasn't it Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels?
Mm-hmm. It didn't even happen in the 1 hour.
I know. It happened after the 1 hour. They went into overtime. But no, so the Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper match was a great match. Probably one of the best scenes were when they were just pulling out all the steel chairs and just throwing it inside the ring. A lot of ECW chants broke out at that point. Mm-hmm. And rightfully so. Rightfully so.
I mean...
Look back at the Dudleys. Just gotta look back at the Dudleys doing that. I think an underrated match of the night. If you're not a fan of Divas matches, you got to watch the Naomi versus Nikki match.
It brought a different aspect to it with the heel versus heel.
Exactly. You know what it reminded me? It's slightly... Okay, remember when TNA was big on knockout matches and those were some of the best matches on their card? Mm-hmm. I would say that would be a match that I could see being on a TNA knockout qualities, right. Up there.
Especially because Nikki she's bringing it.
Oh yeah, she is bringing it a lot. And the one thing I loved about that match was it was a nice back and forth between them. It kept Nikki strong. It made Naomi look good. It brought in like you said, it brought a new aspect with the heel versus heel into it. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens when Paige comes back now, because are we gonna be looking at a possible triple threat match moving forward? I'm pretty sure we're gonna see something happen at Payback between them, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. But that match was for a Divas match. It was a lot better than what we've seen in the past,
especially with
especially that Paige and AJ weren't in it.
Don't say that name, please.
I know. It's hard for you knowing AJ's no longer in the WWE. And then the main event match, which we said was tough for it to follow Reigns versus.
Wait, we're forgetting one match.
Which match is that?
Ryback versus Bo Dallas.
Do we really count that as a match?
The bell ring?
Did the bell ring?
Yeah, the bell
I
ring.
didn't even know that match went by so fast. I didn't even know a bell rang. I couldn't even tell you if a bell rang. But yeah, okay. So Ryback versus Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas put up a hell of a fight, but he just couldn't pull it out. Could not pull out the win, unfortunately. Sorry for him.
Now, when you say a hell of a fight,
he could have won that match. He was about this close, but he could have won it.
Now, when you say he could have won it,
I meant if he hadn't gotten pinned 1, 2, 3, he could have won that match.
what I would say is if the roles were reversed and the decision was reversed,
he could have won.
Bo Dallas definitely, without a shit. Well, 99.9%.
Sure, he could have
won it.
But it was what you call a palate cleanser of a 30 seconds. Maybe a little bit longer, because the entrances were kind of...
It was more the palate cleanser to me, because I like Bo Dallas. I think he could be like the mid-card JBL in a way. Like the guy who's always entertaining, the guy you love to hate. Can you imagine him with the championship belt?
You know what's funny?
He would be more obnoxious than Daniel Bryan when he had won his first title.
He got a little bit of a pop when he came out, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he got a little bit of pop from the Chicago crowd. And you could just ask John Cena how hard it is to get a pop from a Chicago crowd.
Well, especially him. It's just the way that WWE fans are. I mean, are you a fan of the entertainment aspect? Are you a fan of the characters, the actual wrestling? Because actual wrestling, Bo Dallas is pretty decent in the ring. Mm-hmm. But if you're not a fan of his character, then...
One match I would have liked to see them hold off until Extreme Rules to do, but they did it earlier, was The Miz versus Damien Mizdow.
Oh, that should have been like a match like before a main event.
Exactly. That I would have loved to see that match on Extreme Rules instead of last Monday night.
But remember how WWE waits to make the instant gratification even better? Or not instant gratification. To make the match mean much more?
Yeah.
Like with Daniel Bryan waiting until Randy...
Yeah.
Maybe they're waiting until like the King of the Ring tournament.
That is true, which is supposed to be Tuesday night on the WWE Network. Live on the WWE Network. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. But let's jump into the main event.
Seth Rollins
versus Randy Orton.
Wait, with this, I have a legit question.
Yeah.
Because I'm not 100% sure what I saw. Was it Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton, or was it Triple H versus Randy Orton?
You mean Triple H versus Seth Rollins?
No, Randy Orton versus Triple H. Wait, what?
Because, okay, Randy Orton did something that I thought was
no sense.
I think it was pretty awesome. So
it
made no sense. But the stipulation was, the RKO is banned. He can't use the RKO. How's Randy Orton going to win this match? Well, I'll tell you how. He pedigreed Seth Rollins. That's how. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to win the match.
But you know what I really enjoyed in this match?
What?
It's like you know how when you have a video game character and you have 100 points to play with. Uh-huh. What are you going to give your points to? Strength, speed, stamina, or are you going to make this move more devastating? You're going to make that move more devastating.
Uh-huh.
The fact that he was not able to use his RKO, go back and look at everything else he did.
Yeah,
everything else he did seemed. I am sorry, guys.
Yeah,
the spicy beef,
Kung Pao
beef is
killing
me. But because he was not able to use the RKO, his other moves that he normally does,
it just made it seem so much better and more effective, I think. And like you said, he pulled out the pedigree. He pulled out some suplexes. He was just all over the place. Orton actually looked. This is probably one of Orton's better looking matches in a while. And I mean, it was well enjoyed. He did a great job. Seth Rollins did a great job.
And this is also one of his few matches coming back as a face.
Exactly. It was a really good match too. I mean, it wasn't like people say the boring, typical Orton match.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that. It was a good match between Orton and Rollins. And, you know, Rollins has been doing... Every single singles competition that Rollins has had, he has put on a good show.
Right, and also, I think it has to do with the type of match, because... And I don't know if it's different creative. I don't know what's going on, but remember how I said sometimes it's not who's going to win the match, but it's how are they going to win the match?
And how he won how he won this match was just... It was great. So, Orton finally hits the RKO on Kane, who's interfering in the match.
Kayfabe, he hit the crap out of that RKO.
Yeah, he didn't really connect all the way, but...
He didn't connect at all. Like, his head was like a foot off the ground.
But anyway, so Orton hits the RKO on Kane, and then turns around and gets hit with his own RKO.
By Seth Rollins.
But you know one thing I did like? They didn't have Seth Rollins pin Orton. They had him escape out the cage door.
Well, that is a cowardly, heelish thing to do.
And that's the kind of character that Rollins portrays, you know. Instead of going for the easy 1-2-3 pin, which he could have gotten after it in the RKO, no, he takes the even easier, sleazier way out of it. Just gets out of the cage and he's out. He's done. I'm done. I'm out of here. We don't gotta do this no more. Match over.
And one thing that I've never understood until like about a year ago is when people would get so mad that bad guys would cheat so much. But you gotta remember, if these guys didn't cheat as much as they did, and you disliked them as much as you disliked them, you would not like them as much as you liked them when they turned face.
Exactly.
Because as much as you hate somebody, like the only exception to me is Miz.
You will always hate the Miz. You're never gonna drop that.
Look at just like quick example. Look at Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
You know, I hated him, like his arrogant, egotistical attitude. But when he turned face,
you liked him.
I kind of loved him.
Exactly.
Now, if I didn't hate him as much, I wouldn't have been like so much about his face.
You know what you hated for a while? CM Punk.
Did I?
You hated Punk when he was a heel. You didn't like his when he was with the Straight Edge Society stuff.
No. That right there. Okay, because the reality era hadn't hit yet. You know,
that was when you were still in. This guy's a bad guy. I hate him.
No. It wasn't just that. It was just I didn't like him as the character he was portraying. I didn't like. And I'm not saying I didn't like his gimmick. I don't like his character. I didn't like him because he was so easy to hate. Punk is so awesome at making you hate.
That's what a heel is supposed to do.
No, I know, and I realized that he made me hate him so much that when he turned face or when he ran away with the title as kind of an anti-hero in his hometown of Chicago,
yeah,
I freaking loved him. You know, now if I didn't really because think about it, if you don't really care about somebody as a heel,
you're not gonna care for him as a face if you don't care for him as a heel.
Right, exactly. Because it's like if Cena were to turn heel now, they would get like the biggest pop ever.
You know, we'll cover this on our next Wrestling Rundown, but I got a story about Cena wanting to turn heel. This is going back to when he was supposed to face The Rock, by the way. We'll talk about it on next week's episode of Wrestling Rundown, for sure. We'll definitely cover it.
Okay.
But yeah, well, that's the review for this for Extreme Rules. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because the match qualities from start to finish were consistent. They were good, well done. There wasn't really that, this is a boring, crappy match that I just have to fast forward through or anything like that.
This is honestly one of the very first pay-per-views, even comparing it to Mania.
Yeah, honestly, I thought this was better than Mania in some aspects.
Well, in the aspect that we didn't look back and say, well, they could have done this or they should have done that.
Exactly.
You know, for who was in the ring and to maintain the story and to continue the story, I really, really enjoyed it.
Exactly.
The only thing wrong with Mania was that there were just time constraints.
And there were so many bad booking decisions that came about, too, that just had you scratching your head.
Yeah, like Undertaker at night. I mean, not showing up at night, not telling more of a story with Bray Wyatt. That really irked me.
The ladder match, not really. I mean, it was good. It was good, but
it was short and sweet.
It was compared to past ladder matches. It wasn't.
But then again, how much can you do with ladder matches now?
But that's the thing, though. I'd much rather see the same thing done over and over. Like, for example, if I saw a guy climbing up and somebody hits him with a spear, I'd have been happy with that. But
then you got to remember, this is these dudes live on.
No, I understand that. But once again, though, it's gotten to the point where this ladder match compared. I'll even go back to the Money in the Bank ladder match. Really, the Money in the Bank ladder match was so much better than this ladder match at Mania. And this ladder match at Mania had, I think, more potential with who was in it to be an epic match. You know.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
But that's Mania. You got go back and listen to our WrestleMania podcast. We covered a lot of stuff on that one.
And you know what? You know what we should have covered? The argument that me and you had before we recorded the podcast. 'Cause, guys, it got heated.
It got really heated. It was tense.
Actually, let's ask you guys a question. Just one question. We know that Brock Lesnar is a beast, and we're not going to argue about this because he believed in what he was saying. I believed in what I was saying. Neither one of us is right. Neither one of us is wrong. It's just our opinion. Even though Brock Lesnar is a beast, my question to you is him getting his head busted open, 3 to 4 Superman punches, and was it 1 spear or 2 spears?
It was 1 spear. Second spear got countered with an F5.
Okay, now he legitimately hit his head on the post. I think he did it on purpose, but he legitimately hit his head on the post so he could bleed. He got hit with 4 Superman punches and a spear. Is that enough to take down the beast? Now, it wasn't because of what happened in the match, but if he were to pin him right then and there after all that, yes or no, is that enough to take down the beast?
I'm going to still say no, but that's just me.
Yes. And the reason I say yes...
Look what it took to take Big Show down.
Listen. The reason I say yes is because Austin in the Attitude Era, when he was at his highest, got taken out by a DDT and a pedigree. And I know he's no Lesnar.
He's nowhere near Lesnar. Nowhere near Lesnar. No one's near Lesnar. No one will ever be on the same page as the same level as Lesnar.
Because Lesnar lost at WrestleMania 20 by a jackhammer.
That was lame, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But that was the old Lesnar. This is Lesnar after UFC. This is Lesnar.
It's all the same.
No, this is new Lesnar. This is new and improved. They spent millions of dollars to rebuild him. They had the technology.
How much money did you...
Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. But, alright guys, that's the end of the review. Check out our other podcasts if you like talking about wrestling, hearing us talk about wrestling, or just want to share your opinions about wrestling. Check out our Facebook page at Pro Wrestling Rundown on Facebook. We'll be on there. We don't really post much on there, unfortunately.
Well, because
we don't really have many followers, but if you guys listen to the podcast and want to follow us and see us post more stuff on there, follow us on there. Check out our other podcasts, the Open Talk by the 2 guys of podcast and where we talk about so much other stuff.
Yeah.
You won't believe it. But our passion is in wrestling. That's why we talk about it for hours on end half the time. Mm-hmm. Especially, I think our last wrestling rundown was almost an hour and a half long.
I mean, that's just how passionate we are. And
if you give us a chance, trust me, we will talk for hours on wrestling.
Yeah, and we hope you guys aren't like these super duper organized people that get offended or mad when we get off topic, because I'll let you know right now.
We get off topic a lot. Quite a lot.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, because normally, like right now, we're off on something else. We're kind of ranting on a little bit here, but...
Yeah, because if we were to be talking about like hot blonde chicks, and somehow we segued into
we'll segue into Trish Stratus and Lana right now.
Speaking of Trish Stratus, you want to know something?
What up? She does yoga, you know that?
Yeah, this is gonna blow your mind.
What up?
Do you know why? Because Khalid has a big crush on Trish Stratus, and he says that he actually likes her after she left WWE.
Yeah, have you seen her?
No. Don't get me wrong. She's still good looking. She's always going to be Trish Stratus. But do you know what I found out?
What?
She got her breast implants removed after she left the business.
Wow. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's why I like her now. I don't know.
I think maybe that's why I don't like her. Also, in a podcast that I heard,
yeah,
she was like losing a lot of her booty because of all the yoga she was doing. So
I don't know, man. I've seen her in some Euro pants. She's still kind of got one.
No, I mean, she's got it. Don't get me wrong. She's always going to be Trish Stratus. But her, when she entered the business, up until the day she left, I mean, consistently, her and Tori Wilson will always be like 1 and 2 with how long they were there, how consistent, how sexy they were. Because other girls that were considered sexy, there were times where I thought to myself, I wouldn't vote for them, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, that's neither here nor there.
But anyway, that's the end of the episode. Tune in. We'll be uploading every Wednesday. Unless it's a review like this, which will be on Mondays.
Yeah.
So you get Wrestling Rundown Wednesdays and then Review Mondays. Whenever there's a big event like Payback on the 7th. Payback's on the 17th of May. So on the 18th of May will be our review of Payback.
There you go.
All right, guys. See ya.
Take it easy.